Hey guys, hi. In this particular vlog, I'll be giving my opinion and views on the Twilight Saga. As you guys know, Breaking Dawn 2 is coming out soon, and I've been a great fan of the Twilight Saga itself. I read the books from book 1 till book 4 before the movie even came out, before I even knew there was such a production coming out. So I'll start with Twilight, the first book. From Twilight, we actually like those who read the book first would have expected it to be on screen the exact same way that you see in the movie. But I guess the director, it was I think Catherine Hardwicke, she like kind of like straight away from the book, not really straight away, just she just didn't include certain parts in the movie. And but it was still good. In book 1, what happened was Bella Cullen, which is Bella Swan, Isabella Marie Swan, moved to Fort from Arizona with to live with her dad because her mom got remarried. Her parents are divorced, so she moved to Fort. And unlike in Arizona, where we all know that it's really sunny and hot and humid, Fort is really just cloudy and just really gloomy every day. And not gloomy, just cloudy and like cool weather. So she goes to Fort High, and it was she met like she made some friends, okay, and then that's when she realized this really cute guy. Not realizing he's always there with his siblings and stuff. His name was Edward Cullen, and she was supposed to sit with him in class and stuff like that, and they got to know each other. Okay, basically Edward, he's a vampire. He's 109 years old, but he's 17 forever, and they he has this as a vampire. He has this ability to actually read people's minds, but he was unable to read Bella's mind, so he doesn't know what reason it was. That was what that intrigued him to her, and his family, which includes Alice Alice Cullen, Emmett Cullen, Jasper Cullen, Rosalie Hale actually, and Edward himself with Renee's Esme and Carlisle, which are the parents. Okay, Carlisle seems to be the creator, not created like he changed them into vampires, all of them. He like created them and they were like dying and stuff. So they're a different kind of vampires because they don't feed on humans. They used to, but ever since they tried to reintegrate into the society, they've been hunting for animals, bears and everything. So they don't eat humans, they don't feed on human blood. Edward falls in love with Bella, who's not afraid of him. She finds out that he's a vampire and all the rest of his family is a vampire. And they get themselves into some shit with Victoria, um, Laurent, and James. James is killed. James is Victoria's mate. So Victoria is like, she wants revenge and stuff. How James is killed is when they managed to kidnap Bella, but Edward came to the rescue. Edward and his family, and they actually burned James. They tore off his head, his body, and burned him. Victoria and Lauren managed to escape, and then that's when we move on to book 2, where um, Bella and Edward are together, and it was Bella's birthday. She had gotten a gift from Alice, and she was trying to open it, and she got herself a paper cut. And the youngest vampire in the family, Jasper, couldn't control himself. He wanted to like feed on Bella, and that's when a fight broke out, and Edward attacked Jasper. And after that, he blamed himself for the whole episode because Bella got hurt. He blamed himself, and he left her. Yeah, he left her. Seriously, he left her for a couple of months. She was really like depressed, and she was just like she was. She was out of her mind. The only thing that was on her mind was Edward. She kept on getting dreams about him. She kept on then yeah, stuff like that. Oh, and in book one itself, she has a best friend Jacob, a childhood friend. Same, he is brought again in book two. Jacob was there for her throughout that time. She was interested in like doing all those thrilling activities. Jacob, on the other hand, is a werewolf. He's with this he's the grandson of Anselm Black. Yeah, who's the chief of the werewolf pack. But he's not the chief because he gave it up. He didn't want the title, so he was an alpha. And then they became really close because Edward wasn't there, and Bella wanted to try all these treating activities because apparently every time she does this kind of stupid things, she sees Edward like fox and stuff like that. She wasn't sure if it was real or if it wasn't, but yeah. And then she tried jumping off. It's a cliff diving kind of thing. That's when she thought she saw Edward, but then it wasn't and stuff like that. But the thing is that she didn't know was that it was Edward trying to tell her things, not to do this, not to do that. And Edward called her house one day, and Jacob answered, because during that time, Harry, one of the people who lived on the reservation, had died. So Charlie was at the funeral, and Jacob stupidly answered the phone and said, "Oh, Charlie's at the funeral." He knew it was Edward, but Edward didn't know whose funeral it was. So Edward stupidly went to the vaultery and tried to get himself killed because he thought Bella was dead. I mean, vampires can still die, he vanished off, and he found no reason for himself to be alive because Bella was on the reservation. Alice couldn't see her future. That's why Alice thought she had died too. So the last thing she saw of Bella was Bella jumping off a cliff. She thought that she committed suicide. So anyway, Alice can see the future. She can predict. She can see things that are gonna happen in a few years time and stuff like that. So apart from that, um it's now Bella's turn to save Edward. And okay, well, okay, the Volturi is made up of like I guess three vampires are really powerful, and a few of their helpers are going to make up five in total. One of them being Dakota Fanning, who played Jane. Uh, Jane is a vampire who can make you feel pain, make you feel whatever. And Arrow is another vampire who can read your mind, enter your past, something like that. And they tried it on Bella, it didn't work. So they found out that, like, they figured out, like, oh, she has the ability of being a vampire, really powerful one, which can join the Vulture and stuff. And they wanted Edward to change her, but Edward didn't want to because changing someone means making them a vampire and leaving them to a lifetime of immortality. So they fought and they agreed to let her and him go, provided that he will change her in a couple of years' time. So with that being said, book two finished. And then Eclipse was when Bella was being grounded initially, and then after that whole grounding thingy, her dad Charlie let her off with some leniency, provided that she got healed with your friend. And by this time, Jacob wasn't really that close to her because Jacob was really into the pack and stuff like that. But Victoria, remember from book one, Victoria, she was hunting for Bella. And in book two, Lawrence was killed because Lawrence wanted to kill Bella when Edward wasn't around. They were basically Lawrence was trying to avenge Jane's death, and now Victoria is trying to avenge Jane's death plus Lawrence's death. So well, with that what happened was Jake Jacob uh and Jacob was really like on his own and stuff like that. He didn't want to meet them. He didn't want to meet Bella and stuff. And when Bella finally got to meet him, now this time she's back with Edward. She's more with Edward. And Edward wanted her to marry Edward, but they had like until graduation. So Initially, Edward tried to stop her from meeting Jacob on the reservation, but she still managed to get her way. So she met Jacob on the reservation um, and stuff like that. And Victoria came, and Victoria took some of the stuff and a newborn vampire, which is Bree Tanner. Yeah, Bree Tanner was being changed by another newborn, and so the newborn literally terrorized Fox. And then with that, they had like both werewolves and vampires had to work together to protect not all but just protect Stella and protect themselves, of course, and protect Fox because there was a high toll on death. There was a high death toll going around. So obviously the vampires won. I mean, vampires and werewolves won against those evil vampires and newborns because like in Eclipse, it was all about the newborn. It was all about how the newborn terrorized the cities and how they feed on people and stuff like that. So at the end of the story, Edward proposes to Bella and Bella accepts it. Then we move on to Breaking Dawn Part 1. Breaking Dawn Part 1 was the start of the movie, which is also the start of the book, was Jacob running away and changing himself into a werewolf again. But this changed because he got the invitation letter from Bella stating that Isabella Marie Swan, wed um, Edward Anthony Nathan Cullen. We got upset. We still showed up for the wedding. I was like, we met separately and stuff like that. And then after Bella, it was after graduation. So Bella got married to Edward, and they went on a honeymoon. Bella insisted on having sex with Edward. Initially, Edward didn't want to because vampires always have this higher level of strength. And the first time they had sex, like the whole room was literally broken. Like it was like boom and stuff like that. The bed was broken and everything. And then he didn't want to touch her for a few days. They had sex with her and he didn't want to. So there was a lot of distractions and he finally gave in to her when she cried one night, saying that she got a dream and she wanted it to be real. That's why she cried because it wasn't real. So again they broke stuff and stuff like that. And she started losing her appetite. And within that few hours, she discovered that she was pregnant. So Edward brought her back to Carlisle, and they all thought it wasn't possible because Edward is dead, Edward is a vampire, and Bella's human still. And her tummy grew like really fast. Her baby was feeding on her, and because the baby, they didn't know what it was. And Rosie became really close to Bella because Rosie was telling Bella about her life story, how she had wanted kids of her own, how she had led a perfect life and stuff like that. She was actually jealous of Bella from the start. So Alice didn't like the child because it was an unborn child, but it really like ate on Bella. Bella was really skinny. She became very skinny. She became very pale, and Jacob was against it at first. The werewolves were really against it at first, but I guess Jacob left the pack to lead his own pack, which was Seth and Leah Clearwater together. And Leah, who actually hated Bella, was like, okay, she just didn't want to because Leah is um was the okay anyway. Leah was the girlfriend of the head of the werewolf pack, so she didn't want to because werewolves in spring, which means that when they fall in love with someone, it can be anyone, like a 17-year-old boy can fall in love with a baby and stuff like that. They will just fall in love and they will do anything for the child or anyone. So Jacob didn't imprint on Bella, but he didn't imprint on anyone either. He didn't know why, maybe it wasn't time yet. So, anyways, he had to help protect Bella from the vampires, the werewolves, the humans, because no one knew where Bella was. Charlie had thought that they extended the trip because Bella caught a school bus away when she was in honeymoon. So, when she gave birth, she actually died because the baby had eaten too much. She had started drinking blood because the baby had a thirst for blood. That was the only thing she could drink when she was pregnant. when she gave birth, she died, and Carlisle and Edward had to like inject venom into her. This venom thing will actually change them into vampires. So what happened? And she died. And how the movie ended was because of the part one. How the movie ended was Bella woke up and she looked stunning. She was literally so beautiful. She had like red eyes because she was thirsty. So that's the end of the movie, and I'm waiting for part two. I already know what will happen because, of course, I read the book. But for you guys who don't know, I won't spoil the suspense. Just wait up for the movie and let's hope it's a good one. Let's just hope that it will be a good one. Okay? So that's my take on Twilight Saga. I perfectly find it interesting, and I love Twilight Saga because I always want Edward. I want a guy like Edward. Actually, I had one, but yeah, that's my home. So, we done for now. Just stay tuned to my upcoming vlog. I'll record one at work later.